Hey, put your lighters up, put your lighters up. Hey everybody, how y'all doing? So I just want to be about 5 minutes, 7 minutes the most, just about a quick hot topic. I'm pretty sure many of y'all have seen the bitch spirit video where the pastor says, I call that bitch spirit out of you. And there's much controversy about it because some people's like, you know, let that be my mom or let that have been me. He wouldn't have been called me no bitch. I personally didn't take it like that. I did watch the video multiple times just to hear what I could hear and see what I can see. Once again, the clip wasn't that long. I'm not sure what was said after that, what was said before that, or even what she may have discussed with that preacher, that man of God. So as you know, we can speak things that are not as though they were. We can just talk in words of spirits. So sometimes you can speak life and you can speak death over people. You can speak certain things over people. And depending on the person, they can either rebuke it, they can reject it, or they can receive it. So I don't know what that woman's story is, but I can speak for myself personally. There have been many things that were said to me as a child, as an adult. You're not going to be nothing. You're never going to make it. Those who know I was in foster care, plenty of times people said you're nobody, you're nothing, don't nobody want you, and all these different things. And there were times where, you know, you said those things like sticks and stones can break my bones, but words will never hurt. And then there are other times things did hurt, and it got into my mind. And then once it got into my mind and it resonated in there, it got into my heart and it got into my spirit, and there was low self-esteem, and you know, I didn't feel worthy or worthless. I felt like nobody wanted me, all because I believed what people said. So when I look at that bitch thing, and when he said, you know, I come against that bitch spirit and everybody who's ever called you a bitch and a hoe and all this other stuff, when we look at bitch, there are people who will say, I know I'm a bitch. There are people who will say, I'm a bad bitch and I'm a boss bitch and I am a bitch, and you know, that's just me and that's just how I am. So when you look at that aspect of bitch and how some people own it and they walk in it, and some of the characteristics that come along with bitch, sometimes you're like, why you hear people say, why are you such a bitch? Why are you so nasty? Why are you so mean? Why are you like that? So if she grew up hearing you're a bitch and you're nothing but a bitch, and she dealt with nothing but verbal abuse, and at first, you know, she was like, whatever, I'm not no bitch. Why you keep on doing that? And then she finally got tired, and then she accepted it. It's one thing to hear stuff. You know, I see it all the time, you know, from a spiritual aspect. You're healed. Some people, okay, whatever, and they don't really receive it, and they still walk in sickness. Other people, you said you're healed, hallelujah, thank you, Jesus. And they not only get in their mind, but they get it in their spirit. So if she constantly heard, you're a bitch, you're a bitch, you're nothing, you're a bitch, I can't stand you, you bitch, you bitch, 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 bitch. Finally, she might have gave in to that bitch spirit that was spoken up to. You know what? Everybody's calling me a bitch. Everybody think I'm a bitch. So you know what? I might as well be a bitch. And you see how I started doing all of that and getting like that? Because that's what that bitch spirit does to people who really own it. I am a bitch. I am a dog. I am a nigga. All these things that people do. So when I looked at that, I looked at it as him saying, listen, I understand that, you know, you've been called these things, and it's messed with your self-esteem and your characteristics, so now you betray this. But I come against this because you're more than what these people called you. You're not a bitch. You're not a hoe. I come against that low self-esteem. I come against all the extra, I don't know if you want to say extra spirits or extra characters that come along with being called a bitch. I've seen people who say, I am a bitch. I own that bitch. I'll be that bitch. You want to see a bitch? I'll show you a bitch. You get what I'm saying? And there's a lot that comes with that. So I was looking at it once again. I come against the spirit of bitch. I know a lot of people's like, they just making up spirits. But there's a lot of things that people can say over you that's not necessarily a spirit at first. However, if you accept it and you get it in your mind and it gets in your spirit and you start displaying certain characteristics and attributes, then it has become a spirit. You have brought life into what people have spoken and said about you. So I just want to just to give you that aspect. I think the only problem I have with a lot of these videos is that, number one, we jump too quick off of a 30-second video. We don't necessarily just think in layers. We just see, oh, he said bitch and he called her that, and if that was my mom and all those other things. I just think that these pastors just need to use a lot more discernment when they're speaking into people and praying over people. Number one, I just think that maybe, you know, there's certain things where the preacher like, come on everybody, I need you to war in the spirit. I need you to come together. I need us to touch and agree, and this is what's going on. I think there's other things he should have just said, listen, I know you've been called a bitch. I know you've been hurt. I know you're walking in all this anger and all this bitterness. And he should have just gotten her ear and put the mic. And this wouldn't have been such a controversy or a hot topic, because even people are still posting on my post about it. And then you never know. Once again, we didn't see a full video. I know there's been plenty of times like when my late pastor would say, you know, I need some strong men to come and just hug this young man and give him some strength. Who knows? He could have said, I need some mothers. I need some holy, confident, bold woman of God to come up here and hug this young lady and speak something to her and encourage her and hug her and love her through. You know, my late bishop used to assign people. Who knows? Maybe he, after that service, he assigned a specific female elder or a female minister, you know, maybe just to check in once a week, or maybe, you know, once a month. Let's just go out to lunch, let's talk. How can I help? How can I encourage you? How can I make a deposit in your life? So I just want us to, that's just my spill on it. Let me know what you think. Let me know if I'm wrong or right. Do you somewhat agree? Do you see where I'm coming from? But I personally didn't see nothing wrong with the with how he said it. He didn't say you're a bitch. He just said that bitch spirit, that thing that came over you, you know, or spoken over you, and how he's probably seen that. And she received it, you know. It's one thing she would have said, hey, I feel uncomfortable, hold up. Because I've been known to, you know, whisper to somebody to listen, you can pray for me, but I don't receive that. Just pray, this is what's going on, and pray about that. So, you know, people can stop them. Listen, just whisper that in my ear. I don't want everybody else, you know. So, do you think that he should have just never said bitch? Do you think that people do walk in, you know, a bitchness about them and an attitude? Do you think it should have been a woman? Do you think he should have just went in her ear and did that, and then it wouldn't have been wrong? Let me know your thoughts. The bitch spirit. God bless you. Until the next, something comes up that people want me to talk about. God bless.